Alan out now to have his say on the game today. Welcome, Alan.
We won. Where are the rest of the Spurs fans? No one here?
No. I don't know if KJ shared the link with them. I don't know what's going on, but they're not here.
Oh, well, I would have to be a positive Pete and then a negative Nelly after. That's fine. I'll have to do two things at once then. Yeah, no, look. First of all, a win to stop the rot after 4 defeats in a row. Obviously, well needed and on the basis of the game, well deserved. But whereas there were good bits from the team and certain players, there was also a lot of poor as well. Van der Ven, fantastic goal finish, shows more composure than most of our front line today. Porro, again, another great finish. In the midfield, I thought Sarr was sensational again, pushing up, breaking up play, winning the ball high up, showing the intensity that the midfield needed. For me, I see a lot of positives from this team for next season, but that front line needs an overhaul. It is not good enough. You can say the defence and the midfield at times, certain aspects of the midfield are of top 6, top 5, top 4 quality, but that front line is just it. For me, it's bang average. It's middle of the table. It's nothing special. We need a huge overhaul of that front line. Son looked better today on the wing. As a number 9, he was absolutely horrendous. He was poor. As soon as he got onto the wing like he did against Liverpool, he came alive. He showed what he can do. He needs to stay as left wing. He's not a number 9. We need a new number 9. We need a new winger. There's some of the, obviously, things off the top of the head that I thought was good and bad with Spurs. But the main thing is the 3 points. Top 4 is not happening, Terry. We're not going to beat City. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's done. It was on 7-8 weeks ago when we were actually ahead of Villa by 1 or 2 points and we had a game in hand. It's not. It's not on. It hasn't been on for some time. But yeah, look. At the moment, it looks like 5th is where we'll finish, which is a bit ahead of where I thought. So overall, a good season in that aspect. But when we were at 4th and we could have gone on and we were closer to the top 3 than what we wanted, it could have been such a better season. But it's fallen apart because of lack of depth. And hopefully in the summer we rebuild and go again. But better performance overall. But you could say it's the type of team we were playing. Burnley, no disrespect to Burnley, but compared to when we played better teams, we got taken apart. But yeah, a win. A win is a win. And yeah, we'll go from there. But that front line needs a massive uplift in the summer. Really, really poor at times.
I agree with that. Dan, what did you make of your boys today?
Before anything, Mickey van de Ven. What a footballer. What a footballer. I said it so many times. Every time I come on the show, I say something, but one of the opinions I say that one of the things that I say that I could get behind every time I say it, Mickey van de Ven one day will be a world-class center back. This guy, he has all the attributes to be a world-class center back. And not only that, he can defend. The guy can defend, but he can also go and whip it into the bottom corner. He's a better attacker than our attackers. Like this guy, the other week he got given the Spurs player of the season, and I 100% agree. He's also, I think, a candidate of player of the season in the Prem, like signing of the season as well. I think he's one of those candidates for all those things. He's just been so good for us this season. And in terms of the performance from all the players, I don't think we were good enough today, especially in that first half. At the end, we started playing more of Ange ball, but Ange ball that we love to see, passing the ball around. We were breaking them down a lot more. I thought we were very fortunate. I'm not a liar. I come on here and I have my standards on what I say. I think we were lucky today. Because that last chance at the end could have been a penalty to Burnley. 100% it could have been. And it was
on that. Who conceded a penalty like that? Man United conceded one against Chelsea similarly. But I swear there was a really famous penalty in the last week or two where 2 players' legs just touched each other without... I can't remember which game it was. I'm racking my brains.
Tottenham versus Arsenal. That's why I'm saying I'm gonna keep my standards, because that game you're talking about was Tottenham versus Arsenal when Kulusevski went into the box and Trossard got clipped. And it's the same thing where it's like not intentional. Yes. It's not intentional and everything. I said it was a penalty. Today I'm gonna say a penalty again. It's a penalty again. I'm gonna stay consistent and say that today we got very lucky and it was a penalty. But at the same time, all these Arsenal fans on Twitter saying that we robbed Burnley when it happened to them, it wasn't a robbery. I mean, like, double standards is insane. But I don't think the first half today was good enough, and I think at the end we were playing a lot better.
Just to go back on Dan, for me, we looked better and we were starting to take Burnley apart or what, like that when Burnley were having to come out and play because they needed to win to stay up. So when they started pushing, that's when Spurs came alive. When they were sitting in the first half and actually keeping shape on that, we did, again, with that front line, didn't do any, but we hardly done anything to him. It was so slow, so, not good enough, not decisive, not clear enough. It's pathetic, that front line. And we only got to them when they had to come out and play because they needed the win. So, again, I think we're taking the fact that Burnley gave up on their game plan because they needed to win, rather than the fact that if they were still sticking, a draw would have been good enough for them, you wouldn't have seen it come out and you wouldn't have seen us break them down. I think there's a clear difference between actually being good enough and being afforded an opportunity because a team needs to score and needs to. So again, I think that front line, not good enough. Not good enough for me.
No, do you think it's time to potentially cash in on Son?
I've said in recent weeks, and I'll stick to this, if we needed a front line, a new front line, Son's the last one to go because he has, like you said, you move him onto the left wing and you saw him play better. So you would need to keep him on the left or stuff like that. I would have to have him as the last to go, but the new front line, if you're looking for a team to build and grow, you want a young, dynamic, obviously front foot team, people that can take a ball and drive and go at team. You'd want two wingers, you want a striker to fit that bill, and then Son would be the fourth, and that would be your front four. Obviously, then have to keep certain players to, like in the squad, to flesh it up, like to have an impact. Brennan Johnson would be an impact sub for me because of how he plays, and then you'd probably have another one if you brought somebody in. But that would be my thing. A front three, Son as the fourth, maybe Johnson as the fifth, and then an extra additional person. But as a front line, in recent games, that front line has looked awful, average at best. And yeah, Son's only come alive in the last two games on the left wing. It's being honest.
Yeah, I think the reason why I mentioned Son is, listen, I think he's in the top 5 or 6 players in the Prem this year for goal contributions. But Brendan Johnson's going nowhere this summer because you've only just bought him, and I don't think he'll move on. I just look at Son and think, how many more years are you going to get this out of him? Could you raise additional money because you're going to get a lot more money for him, in my opinion, still than you would have Richarlison. That's the only reason I ask. I think on quality, he's the last to go.
Yeah.
But you don't want him to go and be valueless, do you?
No, also, he brings so much to Spurs in regards to the commercial, like as a commercial aspect and all that, and obviously as a profitable asset to the club. So he will be the last to go. He'll probably retire at Spurs. We won't cash in on him. I believe he'll retire at Spurs, and that's it. That's it done. I don't think we'll sell it.
That makes sense. I wanted to. There was actually something in my head I wanted to ask you boys, and it's absolutely gone. So Daniel, do you think top 4 is done from this point, or are you going to make your mind up after that when it comes to the after the full-time whistle goes against City on Tuesday?
Look, I think top 4 is done, and to be honest, I don't even want to get Champions League because what's the point of being in it? Because I know this team won't compete for Champions League. I feel like we have more of a chance to win the Europa League, and we can make it far. We can have a lot more far. We could go a lot more far than the Europa League. I feel like Champions League would just literally be for Levy's pocket, so he can get the commercial revenue. So I don't see any point. I don't think we deserve it with the performances we've played this season. If you would have asked me midway in January if we would deserve Champions League, 100% we would have with those performances we were putting in, but it's all falling off. The wheels have fallen off, and I don't think we even deserve Champions League. I think Villa has been better than us this season, and just congratulations to Aston Villa. At the same time, it could be part of me wanting City to batter us, so I don't want to have that excuse of being like, I don't want Champions League, but I just don't think we're going to get it either way. I think Aston Villa are not going to drop as many points as we need them to, and I don't think we're going to end up, even if we wanted to, I don't think we could beat Man City, to be honest.
Even if you don't think you could beat them?
I feel like maybe we could put up a fight, but to be like the way that they've been playing, they haven't dropped points in I don't know how long. I know we've got that little thing against Man City where we're usually their bogey team and everything, but I think that all fell off in the FA Cup when they beat us at home. I feel like if we played them, they would tear us apart anyways if we really wanted to beat them. So I think I'd rather just, I mean, it would be the most Spursy thing ever to just let Man City beat us. No, not to beat Man City and then go on to lose like our next game or something, but it's just written in the stars. It's just how Tottenham is. That probably what's going to end up happening, to be honest. But I just think that we haven't been good enough this season to get Champions League anyways. And congrats to Aston Villa. They deserve top 4.
Matt here's asked a question. I know we know Daniel's answer already. Do you think Burnley should have had a penalty at the end of the game?
No, I don't think it was a penalty. I'll be consistent. When it happened with Kulu was clipped, I didn't think it was enough in it to be a penalty as well. I've said that on other channels, so I'll be consistent and say I don't think it was, but even a point wouldn't have saved them, so they would have gone down anyway, as far as from what I know. So a penalty wouldn't have really done anything about it. So it is what it is. But it doesn't matter about what we do against Man City. By the time we get to that game, Man United would have done the business against Arsenal when it's irrelevant.
Well, that's also very true. If United were to pull off a shocker, Villa beating Liverpool, all of these things play into it. But I think if Villa lose, listen, you never know. I get both playing both at your best. City win. I understand that. Yeah. Anything can happen in football. Quality of relegated teams poorer than the past teams. Well, I've seen a lot of people kick. I saw Mark Goldbridge tweet that it shows how bad the league is. All three teams have gone back down. I've done a small bit of research, very small bit of research. The teams that got promoted in the 2020-21 season were Fulham, West Brom, and Leeds. And I don't think all three went straight back down as far as I'm aware. 21-22 season, Norwich, Watford, Brentford came up. We know Brentford survived. 22-23 season, Fulham, Bournemouth, Forest all came up. They all survived last season, and they've all survived this season. Obviously, this season's three promoted teams look like they're all going down. Forest have pretty much survived again. But I look over the last 4 years, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the promoted 12 teams have gone back down, but 5 out of how many have gone back down? Sorry, did I say 1, 2, 3,
stayed up?
4, 5. 5 have gone back down, and 4 have stayed up. That's not a bad. Like, people go on like, I don't think that's a bad ratio. Or maybe I'm wrong.
No, for me, if you were saying from the Championship that like all but 1 or 2 teams have gone, like everyone else gone back down, 1 or 2 teams stayed up, then you'd be like, it's a serious question to ask what's going on there. But if it's as close as that, then just over 50% go back down and the rest stay up. So it's not a big problem. I just think teams obviously just need to be brave when they come up to the Premier League and not just feel like.
And you go to the year before that as an example. Norwich City came up, Sheffield United came up, Villa came up. But we know Villa stayed up and Sheffield United stayed up the first year. It's only one back. So if you go back a further year, it's 12 teams. Now you're getting closer to 50. Now you're getting near 50%. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to go back and actually do the research. And then you've got to cross-reference it against all the other top 4 leagues, top 5 leagues across Europe to see whether I just sometimes feel like we make throwaway statements as fans, which are just